say it isn't so. Gonna have a full house today. I have some beautiful pieces going on. Good wives make for great lives. Broadcasting to all Viking Savage channels, let's take a moment and lift our horn and have a beer. From my sponsor.
Here's a harsh truth that everybody gets upset about online when I say it. They get upset because of their ego investment into the fairy tale idea of love and partnership. They get upset because of their ego investment into the idea that their woman is their best friend, their confidant, and they think that love will conquer all, and that their woman will be there through thick and thin. The truth is that as a man, your woman is hardwired biologically and psychologically to want you to be her rock. It doesn't work the other way around. Women do not care about your struggles as a man. They may think they care. They may even want to care, but her evolutionary DNA will not let her care. If you bring her your problems, she will lose attraction for you over time, and she will leave. Now, whenever I talk about this, people lose their minds and start talking about men unaliving themselves. The faster that men learn that women don't care about our struggles, the faster we'll save the lives of men. Men off themselves because of their own ego investments in the Disney fairy tale lie. And when that fairy tale goes up in flames, they get zeroed out and they end things. Men do need a proper outlet for dealing with their problems, but going to their woman isn't the answer. Men need a tribe. They need a brotherhood. That's why I created my beer club. It's a monthly virtual hangout for men only. It's a place where men can be men. It's a place where men can talk about guy stuff without having to worry about offending women. It's a place where they can go without having to worry about being called toxically masculine. It's a place where they can go to solve their problems. Because men solve problems. Women cause problems, you dig? Visit beer.comeonmanpod.com. That's beer.comeonmanpod.com to sign up.
A beer, but first I have to read this book.
Masculinity is in crisis. What are we to do? We need to acquire a dominant masculine presence. Now available on Amazon. Masculinity is in crisis. Men's masculine behaviors and traits have been suppressed by popular culture. Why has it become so popular to shame, guilt, insult, masculinity, and masculine behaviors? After 50 to 70 years of this has resulted in a very large subset of men who have become weak, useless, and crisis. Pathetic state for boys and men that leads to depression and violent despair. A dominant masculine presence addresses this very dilemma for the individual man, and it firmly establishes why this is what is desperately needed by the individual man today. In this book, clearly defined masculine traits and behaviors and the emotional durability provided by traditional masculinity are presented as a guide to what every man should embed into his identity. Putting these principles and behaviors into practice will motivate and direct your path step to step to create for yourself an authentic, dominant masculine presence.
Content in this video may trigger you if you're a pansy, a feminist, soy boy, a white knight. So if you require a safe space and you don't know the real definition of tolerance, I suggest that you turn off this video and go find Drag Queen Story Hour somewhere. You might enjoy that better.
Welcome to the Dragonship this fine Saturday, you savages. Got my special hat on, got my glasses on for my cataracts, this old man today. We're going to discuss some interesting topics back in the culture war. I'm so excited. We got a full house of dragons sitting in the Dragonship, ready to pull hard on these oars and get the hell out of Dodge. Are there more OnlyFans girls than teachers, guys? I don't know, but this old Viking thinks wholeflation was a plan all along. That's right, you heard it. I think wholeflation was a plan all along. With more OnlyFans than there are teachers, well, we'll see. And with men and women at each other's throats and not kissing or necking the way we're supposed to be doing, but in a more ferocious way, I don't know. I think that responsible men do care for all women, but things are a-changing, gentlemen, and only one panel show stands to lift all others up by being a rising tide in all of this. No hate, only love. Let me bring up my fabulous panel of solid berserkers, each at his own station, navigating the vast ocean full of the chocolate starfish. Let's bring them up. Crew, what's going on, man? Let's start. Paul, you just came back from where my ancestors had completely conquered and devastated and rebuilt up that land.
Yeah, that was a really awesome experience. It crossed off a lot of bucket list items over there. And it was in England. That's where
England, Britannia. Yeah. Do you have any ancestry back there? I see you got the blue eyes, right?
Yeah. My mom's side of the family comes from Scotland.
Yeah, I think one of my berserkers might poked a few of those Saxons and left their mark on your family. You know?
Probably.
The way it should have been. How are those castles? Isn't that something else? I've been to England. Yeah.
Oh, that's an amazing experience. You know, we just don't have a lot of that kind of stuff here in America. Like lots of old stuff that dates back to like 1066.
And just the thought of that deep time is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, and then the people that live there, they just walk around like it's no big deal. Like they don't give a shit. My friend's like, "Oh, you need to go to the beach one day," and I'm like, "The beach? I can go to the beach fucking anywhere. I can't just go to castles though."
That's true. You know? And you know, there's a place in India where there's this giant granite mountain, hard ass fucking stone, and they carved an entire temple and city complex out of the fucking mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And they did it from the top down, and they don't know how old it is, but they're speculating now 10,000 years or more. Unbelievable. Glenn Lawrence, our resident cleric, shall we say, on the Dragonship. Somebody's giving a lot of background noise.
I think it's Ray.
Feedback. Yeah, we're hearing the echoes. Okay, that's better. Glenn, our resident cleric, unmute, man. Let's hear what's going on. Let me get that hammer out of your face.
You know, I'm just, chilling,
getting ready to destroy this little faggot that I know, Manosphere.
Glenn actually likes hammers in his face, if you know what I mean.
Oh, he does.
Put it back up.
Paul would know.
Yeah.
Paul would know. You know,
Maybe he'd like this better.
There you go. There you go.
Can we just put Paul where
It's
I'm at?
right at the right level for Glenn
Is that
too.
the right level?
Proper level.
Can we switch this, please?
Yeah.
Like, I don't need your dick in my face.
Yeah, but
Anyways,
maybe this would be better.
I'm just, counting down the beautiful days until I put Paul in a casket. It's
never gonna happen. I'm going to retain this forever.
You should have done yourself a favor and stayed over in the UK.
Y'all
because
think
now you're back in the United States, bro? You're too close to get touched. You're gonna get hurt.
Y'all think that Roman Reigns' run as a champion is impressive? You ain't seen nothing yet. The longest running Manosphere champion.
Your own mother is on my side.
I know, she's dead to me.
You guys, you're savage, man. You're savage. Yeah, that's great. Wraith, unmute, man. I like the way you got your camera set up. It's fantastic. Let's see if we get any of that feedback. Tell us what you've been up to, old man. No, I'm not hearing you. Wraith, I got you. Something's not coming through on the audio. Okay, no worries. Viking Dad, another solid Viking on the oar, navigating this sea of chocolate starfish with us men. How's it going, brother?
What's going on, guys? Happy to be here.
That's my man. Are you from Texas?
Me? No, I'm from Alabama.
You're from Alabama. Okay.
He's from Greenbow, Alabama.
Greenbow.
Yeah. Love that, man. Love that. I was born in Texas till I was 4. But if I'm around a lot of Texans or Alabamans, that shit starts to slip out on me. I hate it. I can't even stop. I can't stop it. I don't get it.
I hate the fake accounts that do like the really hard twang to get views on their accounts and stuff. I'm like, I don't even talk like that, so I know yours is fake.
No, you totally do. You
totally talk like that.
Well, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
that's okay. You can be the lead of the Yoms Viking division with a little bit of time. How about that? The Yoms Viking were like the special forces of the Viking. In fact, they resisted Christianity to the end, Glenn. They had to go in and kill them all because they said, we're not doing that. We're not taking that wafer.
Where are you guys now?
Oh, I was just teasing you about the Yoms Viking. They were the last of the Christians after the Norwegian king said Christianity, all Vikings to be Christian. And they like, no, we're going to die first. So they killed them.
That's how Christians get down.
Yeah, I know it, huh? Like,
hey, gotta use a sword.
I thought the pen was mightier than a sword.
Yeah, that's what some bitch said.
Hey, no worries. Thanks for joining, Glenn. AJM, man, this is my Viking detailer. I expect it to be fully clean. I'd like to make sure the captain's platform is beautiful and I could drink off of that wheel.
I'll make it happen.
Awesome, man.
Glad to be here today, man.
Good. Nuclear Caldelo. We are broadcasting our pirate signal to your channel right now. How are you doing?
Hey, what's up, everyone? Good. Great. Just causing a lot of havoc on Twitter, apparently. So yeah,
tell me about it because I'm kind of it just wasted way too much of my time, but I love reading what you got, man.
Basically, I caused the great female spurg out of 2023. I got women arguing with each other, which is I'm pretty proud of myself because usually it's men versus women, but when you make women versus women, it's even more interesting. But the point is, there's always a point to everything, and I just wanted to show people like, hey, there is a female hierarchy and there is a female kind of like pecking order, and there it is. And then it was just so easy to like present it, but at the end of the day, I'm having fun. I'm getting paid, so whatever.
Wow, you're getting paid off of this?
Yep, I'm gonna. Tadashi's gonna get a new collar and a new harness and all that stuff off of this. So,
fucking A, man, I'm gonna have to take some lessons because I'm just throwing money at it. Yeah, those old school guys, we just toss our money at it and see what happens.
I find if you're gonna buy advertising, buy it on Facebook. it's a little bit.
I tried that, but
better investment.
another story because they just kept charging and charging and charging, and I'm not seeing anything. So I didn't know it good enough, you know.
Yeah. There's a method to the madness there.
Apparently there is, and us boomers have a special difficulty with it. Hey, can I notice it's hat day today? Holy shit. It's hat day today. Look at that. You can see I have my death.
Or in AJ's case, hood day.
Oh shit, that looking gangster. Dude, we got to get you some cataract glasses and you'll be solid. You know? Hey, you know what? I want to shout out right now before I move on to the topic. Everybody in the chat, looks like we're getting everybody in the chat. Opium Tales, Danny Arnold, one of the members, Baron Gaslight, Moonpill, Rational Optics. I mean, guys, it's filling up. People filled in. CW, Kim's Derek. Shout out to all of you guys. And here's the thing, Nico C. This is all viewer supported. We like to chat it up because we're all friends. I consider all of us close friends. We are our own little tribe. We chop it up. It's tongue in cheek. We have fun with this thing, but it does take out of our day where we're providing for our families, being solid masculine men, and contributing to society, even though this is a contribution another way. But I would ask that you would consider throwing over a super chat to any one of our channels, starting with Thor, Paul, Glenn, AGM, Viking Dad, and Nuke. We're all broadcasting our signal, and that's what we think. You know, a rising tide lifts all ships, so we're broadcasting on all of them. Feel free to throw a super chat or a super thanks if you get any value out of this. And please, if you can't, if you're just joining us new, just subscribe, hit that notifications bell, and be ready for some really exciting content. Speaking of which, I've had 2 requests randomly in my YouTubes to bring back the Trident, Glenn. Just thinking someday. That's cool shit. Anyway, for another time, right? So back to our topic today. We're going to slice up some numbers. Glenn and I have kind of come up and looked at this, and it looks like it's hard for us to get totally accurate numbers, so we're going to make some assumptions based on a straight line trend. In 2018, a group of investors, private company, invested in something called OnlyFans. Okay. And so they invested in OnlyFans, which is a website that was intended to connect people socially and allow them to engage and make a little bit of money if they were, say, a prominent sports figure, an up-and-coming personality, an actor. It would give them at least some sort of engagement access via pictures, texts, group texts, and things like that. That was just a little different than trying to do it on the other social media platforms. And the quality of the pictures and the videos was quite good, so the engagement was rather high. So they launched this private company, and within a year, it went crazy. And you would think, great, there's that many, music artists, rappers, country artists, and, the list goes on with actors. I think it was really popular with actors right up front because they had exposure. Is that, am I tracking right on this, Glenn? It was really kind of pushed that direction. And
yeah.
And then, the mattress actresses got a hold of it, and and it started to really take off because I don't know if they meant it on purpose, guys, but they really played into a human need. And that human need is for engagement, companionship, emotional acknowledgement. And the most popular stuff on there right now is basically the girlfriend experience. I actually know a couple of creators through the lifestyle where the biggest payees is in a subscription with extra money, where a young man or even a middle-aged man will be getting text and pictures sent to him on his phone on a daily or every other day basis. That's like this. I'll use this example. Hey, honey, how are you doing today? I hope you have a good day at work, with a sexy little photo as if it's a girlfriend or a wife. And these continue on throughout the day. And this is getting like $1,000 a month for some of these creators to actually engage with someone as if they were their significant other. You guys heard of this yet? That's pretty.
As much as women cost, like having a girlfriend doesn't cost $1,000 a month. Are you for real?
Well, now I might argue that here's the thing: you always pay for poon, one way or the other. Even if you don't get the poon, you pay for the poon. Let me just say this: men pay, on average, $100,000 in taxes. Women have zero tax liability, but in a lifetime. Right now, Cappy knows that. That's the stats. Only men pay the taxes when it comes to their lifetime. Just saying. Poon always pays, even if you're not getting any. But they're what they've done is they have, and I cannot disrespect the grift. What they've done is they've connected to a basic human need that's pretty freaking crazy. Because at that time, sex was actually on the decline because men were so unattractive. Because after decades of telling women to be strong, independent, go and take the man's job, become masculine yourself, only a select few number of men could actually meet the criteria to be a potential mate. And so that left this vast sea of men that are essentially invisible, but they can be accessed when they spend money because the females feel very secure in offering this. And they feel there's a distance where they don't get creeped out or icked out so much. And they get money in return. And this guy gets at least the emotional component that I will say this. It appears to be that most of them are mama's boys. They have that need a little bit for a mothering or attention from the woman, you know. And I just putting those things together as I was making notes. I also made notes here that a lot of those guys that do that, the beta type guys, they announce broadly everywhere publicly that their girl is the most unique and special girl everywhere. And I noticed that the alpha guys that get all the girls, it's their women that actually announce how awesome and memorable their men are. But I can't get after OnlyFans for this grift. It's pretty freaking crazy because we're going to go through the numbers. And the thing that I think Glenn's going to get into is what we really need is we need solid teachers. And the majority of teachers are female. We need good education. Now, it's all geared towards women, it appears, for the last 70, 80 years. But we have crossed a Rubicon in some ways. Because when we draw the straight line, you're going to see there's actually more OnlyFans creators. Hey, you know what we just got? Got to do it. Finally, a super chat. My brother, CW, is going to, let's just put it up there. Thor, love tuning into the show and learning great stuff from you and the guys. Read Thor's book, guys. Great stuff. Thank you so much. The Dominant Masculine Presence will help you guys. And thank you for the super chats. And here's the thing. You don't have to just do it to me. You've got Paul. You've got Glenn. You've got Nuke. You've got Viking Dad. And you've got AJ. These guys all do this out of a passion. And so support these little guys. And they're going to keep putting this forward. And it's only going to get better from here. Thank you. And CW, don't forget to take a look at the membership too. Glenn and I offer a membership, and that's where you could check Trident out. And that's pretty freaking special. It's a little more geared towards adults. Oh, shout out to Supernatural Fart Spreader too. So you guys ready to get into it? Do you have any initial thoughts on the OnlyFans? What's your first take on it? I actually admire the business move and wish I could have came up with this because it's a filling need. On the woman's side, it's playing right into strong independent, right? In reality, that's not the case at all. It's very seasonal and it's forever, unfortunately. But on the guy's side, it's fulfilling this other need. And so bringing the two together is it's a genius level business move, really, because that's what you do in business. You get that exchange going. That's better for everybody. But anyway, aside from that, what are your initial thoughts on OnlyFans, Paul? It hasn't been around that long. I mean, 2018 was the formulation. 2019, we have numbers for. And just seeing the exponential growth of these dollars is crazy. They tapped in.
Yeah, it's the world's oldest profession, isn't it?
In a way, It certainly is.
Yeah.
And guys, more, actually.
Guys love naked chicks diddling themselves on camera. It's the tale of oldest time, right?
Yeah. I suspect a lot of men are behind OnlyFans and the management of it because they know.
Oh, sure.
It's just my thoughts. And then Glenn, what about you? I mean, you've had the opportunity to schedule quite a few gals that are in this business out there in Vegas. What's the draw?
It's just like what Paul said. It is the oldest profession in history.
Does this give them?
It's just reinvented for the 21st century. You know, like this is the 21st century prostitution.
Okay.
But now it's like we don't look down upon it.
Right.
Everybody's a prostitute. Because if you think about it, before women were always talking shit about the prostitutes. Oh, those are bad women. You don't want a floozy.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them, because they couldn't do it in a way that they felt that they could be safe or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Now we got all the women doing it. I mean, the numbers are staggering how many women are involved in it. So now it's just like every woman's a prostitute, basically. I mean, the rarity, before it was like, guys, we used to want a girl that wasn't fat, that could have a conversation, maybe actually use complete sentences.
Well, wait a minute.
Now we have to make sure that these bitches don't have OnlyFans. Like,
so I know it's easy to equate it to prostitution, but is the brilliance here, AJ? Is the brilliance here? This is for AJ and Nuke. Is the brilliance here that they actually gave plausible deniability by creating this because there's a distance to where instead of actually having the physical poon contact, which some do because they hire them to come and make content. Let's just put that aside for a moment. And put the other ones in there. Does it give them some sort of social plausible deniability of being a prostitute so it's not as harsh, so it's more acceptable? I'm just spitballing here. What do you think?
I think there's I think it leads to some cognitive dissonance in the women where they're doing prostitution things, but they're not considering themselves a prostitute because they're not physically there getting the money and setting up with the John and shit like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Interesting. What do you think, Nuke?
Yeah, it's a hack. It's basically they've leveraged technology in order to do something to make money, and you got to look at who is benefits from incentivizing this. So obviously the company itself is like trying to push that. Hey, it's not a big deal if you're shoving a cucumber up your butt for money. It's not a big deal, It's the new thing,
Too, right?
So what they're gonna do, so what OnlyFans does is they made it a household name, right? Yeah. You say OF, even if you just say OF, everyone's gonna know what you're talking about immediately. Of people from all ages, all backgrounds in this country are gonna be like, oh, this girl has an OF, and they're automatically, oh, OnlyFans, like it's a household name now. And then on the girl side, the promise of making money, even though most of them don't make anything, barely.
Well, we're going to get to that. I want to save that and have you comment on this when I put the numbers up, because check this out. Same guy. Sometimes you get what you pay for, and we ain't paying the teachers. But we're going to talk about what the teachers are paying. It's going to surprise you. But yeah, Nuke. Sex without the sex, prostitution.
It makes sense because like there was an industry for this stuff, and now guys don't have to. And it kind of, if you think about it, think about the psychology for men. A lot of guys aren't getting sex, and they aren't getting that intimacy with their wife, girlfriend, or with women in general. So instead of going out and getting caught with a prostitute or an escort, I could just have a fake online relationship with somebody and get my intimacy needs, fulfilled, and I don't have to step out of my house and lose my kids because it's seen as less bad, So it solves a lot of problems. It creates new ones, but it solves a couple problems for both sexes, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's why it makes so much money too. That was the brilliance I was talking about. Look at what Apex Insight said. They are now they are content creators. So that plausible deniability is built in. Yeah, it's built in by shifting from prostitute content creator, because technically only so many actually invite their subscribers to do content, which they do at a special charge, right? That's actually become some of the most lucrative paying stuff as far as I've been able to research that. But then the really big ones seem to be the girl next door pretending to be the girlfriend experience, which, man, that reaches psychologically really deep. I find it interesting, Nuke. If you look down in the corner, you can see that blue OnlyFans logo. Guys, is it just me, or does that not look like a donut with a flame? like maybe a chocolate donut with a flame, like flaming chocolate donut, perhaps. Or maybe blue for another couple things that are blue that might be blue after a discussion with an OnlyFans girl. Anyway, kind of sidetracking some shit there, but it's just how ironic that these guys are that.
Yeah, you know, the people that are getting paid the most though are the OnlyFans managers, the guys who recruit these girls and do the marketing for them. They're getting paid a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
It was kind of like the gold rush days, right? The guys that made a lot of money were the guys that sold the picks and the shovels. It wasn't necessarily the guys out there mining.
Yes, this is like the gold rush, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I wonder
Very,
what the
very
are you saying like the guys that are like Andrew Tate are making the most money on OnlyFans?
Does he not? He does have his hand in that, right?
I mean,
I think he used to, right?
That's basically how
I think he did.
Okay.
That's how he came up, right? He came up with webcamming. So let's call it
Which
what
is
it
a
is.
precursor to this, right?
Yeah, he was the original internet pimp.
I cannot.
He has his own program called
the grift at all. That's brilliant.
He has his own program called Pimpin' Hose Degree or whatever, PhD. So it's like, you know, like the TradCon hero only, you know, is the OnlyFans originator.
Yes. Right. Wraith, you got any initial comments on because we're going to start to break some numbers down. We're going to show that it looks to be, now we can break the numbers down a couple of different ways when it comes to teachers, female teachers, and female content creators on OnlyFans, because you can't get the actual numbers. They won't release them, but there's the estimates. So that's easy to get. And then there's the number of dollars that are paid out. But just taking a look at the exponential growth of this one medium versus teaching is pretty startling. And of course, we can talk about anything, but what's your first take on this brilliant move that started out as connecting fans with, you know, famous people that's kind of turned into this supplying needs of two parties, one of being strong and independent, the other one of the loving, nurturing, kind of mothering sexual needs of young men? What's your take on it?
Well, if I think about the prostitution angle, they don't consider prostitution because there's no law against it. Okay. So that's what they're looking at from a standpoint. I'm not a prostitute because there's no law against what I'm doing. Now there is a law against a woman going out and standing on the street and selling herself.
Yeah.
So because there's no law against it, then it must be okay. And it's living by, you know, societal constructs of if you do it and it's not hurting anyone or it's not breaking the law, then it's okay. And that's it goes to the me generation, and you know, how do I promote myself so that I'm a better me, as opposed to how do I promote myself so that I'm better for someone else.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. You know, that's that whole might makes right. If everybody else is doing it, it has to be the right thing, and we all know how that goes too.
And that's why other women aren't talking about it, and they're not even downing prostitution anymore. I mean, most states are looking, you know, they're trying to go through and legalize prostitution in most states now, because according to them, it's a victimless crime. Where if a woman says I'm empowered and I'm a prostitute, okay, then if she feels that being a prostitute empowers her, how is she a victim? You can't be a victim of what's empowering you.
No, and that's actually why I would support legalization of prostitution. In fact, as a libertarian, because of that very fact, I think it would actually go a long ways in helping men that don't quite have the perceptions we do in sorting out where they might want to go easier, because I think it would help.
But, you know, like someone was talking about the cognitive dissonance, if we legalize prostitution, it just bleeds over, and the cognitive dissonance bleeds over into that. Because, you know, for 300 years, you know, at least for the last 150 since feminism, we've been told that it's misogynistic and that the patriarch is holding women down and, you know, using women. So OnlyFans has taught us that, you know, men aren't really using women; women are using us. We're not objectifying them; they're objectifying themselves so they can gain money from us.
Okay, I can see that viewpoint. I think that there's men behind the entire endeavor. Yeah, that's where it's being led from. But yeah, I'm not opposed to it at all. I think it's easier to screen for a woman you might want to have a long-term relationship by opening these things up, because now you have another tool to screen by.
Thor, you got to be careful with that though when you say
Tell me.
that.
Tell me.
Because the reason what you just, I think men are behind it. I think men are doing it. Then now you get women narrative saying, well, it's men that are making us do this. It's men's fault that there's an OnlyFans. It's men's fault. Like, so it's like, you got to be careful when you say that, because men could be behind it, making money off it, because they know women are going to sell their asshole anyways.
So they created it. What do you mean by careful?
Well, because they were going to do it regardless. If you're giving them an out by saying like, well, I think men are behind it. No, women are behind it. They were going to sell their butthole, whether it's on Chatterbait, OnlyFans, creating their own Twitter, or like whatever, Reddit. They were anything that man created for something that could have been for non-sexual platforms. Women will use it for sexual platforms because they know that men will pay for it. So it's not that so much men are behind it, that men facilitate it and women used it for what they want to use it for. You know what I'm saying? Like they use it for the need or the thirst, as Rafe would say. They knew that men's thirst was there. So again, because OnlyFans was never created for porn. It was created for actors, athletes, and politicians who already had an online presence, a social presence, so you could kind of break that fourth wall and have a conversation with your favorite celebrity, right? That's what it was intended to be used for.
Yeah.
Then porn the girls got into it, and they're like, look, I can show you my butthole for $12.99 a month. And then so it wasn't that men are behind it. Men created something for a certain utilization, and then women capitalize on that utilization by putting their butthole on there.
Oh yeah, we're going to demonstrate that with the numbers too. When I'm saying that they're men behind it, they gave this framework out, and when the women capitalize on it, you'll see the exponential growth. So I wouldn't give them an out necessarily, but I do believe most of the managers there are men, because that's what makes the girls the most money. It's not them in charge of themselves. But here, take a look at Sub-Zero 49. Yes, you don't see women marching in the streets to legalize prostitution. I disagree. Part of the rainbow wokeness is you are seeing a lot of that right now. The slut walks are all about that. Right, wrong, or indifferent. It's in everybody's face right now. And with things like OnlyFans being out there, it is the next step. It's like, okay, so this is sexless sexual engagement. Let's just call it what it is. It's sexual engagement, interactive sexual engagement, without, setting aside the ones that go and make the content with their fans. It's the ones that do this with no physical engagement, but they're still selling that side of it. So that would be, is the thought of it, Glenn, from the Bible, is just the thought of it the sin, or is it the actual doing of it that's the sin?
It's the
desire. I mean, lust is a sin. Desire and lust is a sin.
That's the desire. It's like Jesus says, like, hey, even if you look at another woman with lust, and that's adultery. Well, he's setting the bar. So he's saying, and when people take out of context, they're like, oh, it means the actual act. What he's trying to demonstrate in that passage is that there's nothing you could do to avoid to be worthy of heaven. So he's saying, like, even the thought is sinful. Even the idea of it is sinful. So he's saying you're not going to get there on your good behavior. That's what he's trying to demonstrate in that passage. He's not saying that like, oh, he's showing you how impossible it is for us to be worthy of heaven in essence.
Well, but he's also telling you and quantifying what sin is. Sin is anything that breaks the covenant between you and God. Okay, so and when you talk about integrity, honor, dignity, all those things, that's in that relationship with God. There's supposed to be that covenant. that covenant of honesty. And if you're, if you have lusted after a woman, if you're in a committed relationship, which requires you to be, have honor, integrity, and dignity towards yourself and that other person, and you lust about another woman, then you've let your values down, which is a sin, because your values are given to you by God. So it's the problem in the Bible. People try to take it literally, and there is, even though there are literal interpretations, there are also subjective and interpretations that have to be made, and it's based on the relationship with God. So when someone says, "Hey, I didn't kill anybody," that's pretty easy to figure out. All right. But the Bible doesn't tell you not to kill anybody. It says not to murder, really. Because there are times
we can kill people, we just can't murder them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's lots of Old Testament.
Like we go to war and we could kill a mother. But look, murder, that's a whole different story.
There's like when I go to Vegas and I kill Glenn.
Oh no. I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna murder Paul. I'm not gonna
God will bless me that day.
I'm after I murder Paul, I'm gonna skull fuck him. Just so you know.
That escalated.
About to say, well, you two just make out already.
But the point is, anything can be either literal or contextual.
Yeah.
All right. And that's what they've done with OnlyFans. They've made it contextual. It's not literally prostitution because I'm not giving myself. Contextually,
plausible deniability, I think. Yep.
Right.
For socially and for them with the cognitive dissonance, like Nuclear brought up, I think that's kind of the allure too. And before I get into the numbers, one of the things that's interesting here is I did do some research looking at whatever and some of the other ones where the OnlyFans girls were there. Notice the sense of pride in being a content creator for the gals. There is a social component here that it's the in thing, and that there is definitely that going on. And you guys know how when one handbag is hot, they all got to have it. And I think I'm seeing some of that. But what I see on the horizon, I'm just curious. Do you guys think there's a big social component to that as well? We're starting to see now that we have surpassed the number of teachers, since it's growing so rapidly. And also, we'll go through the numbers of what they actually make. I think we're seeing it in the numbers on what they actually make, Glenn.
I don't.
Yeah. Hey, Thor, to like go off that little question you had about like the social standing, I think it does, because like I remember for a while there when OnlyFans was first coming out and becoming popular, all the girls would put like on their Twitter or X tags, like in the top 0.05% of OnlyFans, like, yes, hey, I'm an important person on there.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And I see on IG
idiocy, where you're talking about, who people perceived you to be bought you credits. It bought you credits so that you could buy the food. So, I mean, it's creating a digital society. That's why when you talk about, hey, we're trying to get rid of cash and everything like that. It's creating that belief that popularity brings you credibility and should bring you credit. It's a step over towards that digital society, creating a digital society where everything is controlled by, the number of credits.
Social credit score kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's a risk coming though.
So you're talking about like a social credit score, like a dick credit score. Oh, you got a 700 dick rating.
I don't know. Let me see your hand, Glenn. Yeah, mine's bigger.
No, not even close.
I don't think the social. I don't think there's a social component.
No, there's a genetic component here. It's
that much
from son to father, father son. I'm sorry. What was that?
I don't think there's a social component as much as we think.
Okay.
I've dated several women in the past that have had one. And I see they hide it they try to hide it,
Oh, interesting. Tell me more.
I think they start kind of like, so I got a little bit of lag, so please excuse me. But
no,
what
I
happens
like
is
this helps me. It helps me understand that whole plausible deniability thing.
So if you're a girl who's at 1%, that takes work. You don't just turn on the camera one day, take a picture of your vagina, and you're 1%, right? There's an OnlyFans agent that's trying to get you. So what happens is the agents they say, hey, I get a cut. I'm going to promote your OnlyFans, and I'm going to cut. So what they do is they make fake profiles on dating apps. They make fake Instagrams. So right now, if you guys go on Twitter, you type OnlyFans on a tweet, even though you could say, I hate OnlyFans girls or whatever, there's going to be several bots that come in instantly to kind of like share links with you. Right. And that's an agency trying to get more followers for girls. Right. Sometimes the agents will be like, hey, go on this podcast and act a fool and you'll get more followers. Right. It goes deep. Right. And the thing is, too, anything that's like below 5%, girls really won't put it out there. You know, they're not going to put top 10, top 20, top 30% because they're not earning any money. You know, it's only a negative. It's only to a point where they make so much money where even if they told their parents, hey, dad, I'm making $10,000 a month, you never have to worry about money for with me ever again. The dad will probably be like, that sucks, but you're making money. So how bad is it? Because, you know, most dads are not masculine. They're just whatever. They just exist, right? So if you guys pay attention to a lot of these shows that have these kind of girls, and I've spoken with a girl that the other day on a podcast where she was on a mainstream porn site and then she does OnlyFans and all that stuff. And I heard them over the two girls talking, and they were talking about that they were looking for a better OnlyFans manager. These girls have done mainstream pornography. Like if you guys search now, you could find them. They have done mainstream pornography, and they're making and they're dating athletes and all that stuff. And the thing is, it's like they need a manager because even with all that clout and how hot they were, I still found her on Hinge the other day, right? And the thing is, it's so strange, right? When you think that the marketing of OnlyFans is if you do it, you're a celebrity, right? Yep. Look at the OnlyFans girls; they're getting invited to all the nice parties. They're shooting scenes with other porn stars that are already famous. So it's like, oh wow, you know, that's the allure of it. And then finally you meet one in person. She's normal, she's a nice person, right? But you realize like it's almost like a fantasy because this girl's gorgeous. She's done mainstream pornography. She is dating like high level men, but she still needs guys to market for her, you know? So it's not as like glamorous as people think, and it's hard work. I mean, obviously putting a cucumber up your butt isn't hard work, right? But like it takes a lot of concerted effort from different people to get this girl's vagina in front of a lot of lonely men, you know? So yeah, it's very interesting. So girls usually don't brag about it.
Let me point something out. You said something really interesting. It takes all this body of work, all these people helping to sell one snatch, right? All these people are invested in selling one butthole. Society-wise, we have decided
one set of
that we're going to put more into selling a butthole than we are educating our kids. Think about that.
Yep,
we're going to put more manpower.
And what I'm hearing,
hey, Glenn, that explains why, like in DFW, like on Tinder, Hinge, Bumble, most of the teachers are also OnlyFans content creators.
We're going to get there. Absolutely. That's a good side thing.
Let me just show you, tell you guys where we're at with society. Now, do I blame women for being on OnlyFans? No. I think that I expect women to do what's in women's best interest.
Yep.
And if women think that selling their butthole is in their best interest and there's not going to be a consequence for it, then so be it. Do your thing, women. Do your thing. Do your thing.
Interesting.
My problem with women is that after the butthole cannot make $1 anymore, they want to come back and be like, I found Christ. I've been washed by the blood.
Yeah.
I am ready to be married.
You've been washed.
And I'm like, no, God may have saved you, but you're not marriageable. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not marriageable now. Like you get to die old with your cats and pray to Jesus. Okay, but you're unmarriageable. The problem I also have is when it comes to the men, is that You're bitching about there's no good women, but you are contributing to the bullshit that are making women unmarriageable, right? So when it's a catch-22, guys. It's like, oh, all these guys want to find women. Cool. I have no problem. You guys looking for a good woman to settle down with if you want to get married or have a covenant marriage, whatever. I'm with that 100%. But at the same time, you're promoting these chicks to get blown out on camera so you could beat your meat. But then you're trying to say that all women are trash. Well, you contributed to the trash. So just like women don't get to complain about the men that they get because women have created the men today, right? With the bullshit of all the policies and everything, men also have contributed to the wholeflation.
It's a plan.
So it's like, what are guys complaining about to a degree when they contribute to it? When they are the source of revenue that these hoes get.
Yeah. Good point, Glenn. And like Theodore says, what type of marketing business are you in? The marketing of Snatch? Well, I used to have a nickname years ago. It was called the Snatch Lord. And what I heard from Nuke was that when these girls get together, they're looking for a Snatch Lord to be able to market them. Interesting. All right.
Apex Insight. And you would hold on real quick.
And the crazy
Apex Insight. You say you would like to them to do what is right. The question is, right by who?
Yeah, because they think they are doing the right. Exactly.
They are doing what they think is right by them.
And it might be.
And what's right by them has nothing to do with what's right by you. Or even what's right by God. Because if obviously they don't care about what's right by God if they're doing what's right by them.
Yep. That's right. I don't think there are residuals for the butthole, but there is a starfish savings plan. I'll just say that. All right. You guys want to look at numbers, Glenn? Want to get into that? All right.
Let's talk about the dollars and cents.
Dollars and cents and numbers. You guys have all been waiting. Hey, shout out.
Real quick, before we go that.
Yeah.
Laurent, what is your opinion
Laurent
on OnlyFans buttholes?
I like them.
I don't have an OnlyFans account, so I don't know what it looked like. But to come back to the history of it, back in the 70s, there was an organization called NOW, National Organization of Women. And the introductory speech of Kate Millett was the founding member. She said, we're going to take down the patriarch through prostitution, promiscuity, and all this. And this whole agenda of, hey, sex work is just work. Well, if it's work, put it on LinkedIn and see what happens.
Yeah, you know what? They actually devalued women's primary agency, though.
Tax that stuff.
See it in the birth rate. So it actually kind of.
And the whole idea was to basically dismantle the family, destroy the nuclear family. But if you believe that sex work is work, how about you put it on your LinkedIn? I sell pictures of my vagina for $4.99 a month. See what happens.
Let me reply back to Apex Insight real quick.
Which one?
On the very bottom. He goes, why can't we expect men to be moral? Because you can't expect or women to be moral because you can't expect men to be moral.
Oh, that's going to drive you insane too. In fact, that's a dangerous place to go when you expect others to be that way.
Yeah, like, how can you expect someone to be moral according to whose morals? I mean, I'm with you, Apex.
It's always back to their own.
I'm totally with you. I get what you're saying, but the question is, men are not even moral themselves. So if men are not moral, and we're supposed to lead, how can we expect the things that we lead to be more moral than us?
Right.
Okay. Yeah, and you can't change other people. You only have control over yourself.
No, and I'll tell you, a better mentality is when you're expecting most people to be immoral around you, and then they are moral, it really uplifts you a lot because it gives you renewed faith. Whereas when you're looking for everybody to be immoral, that's a bad place to be because you just reaffirm those in your own mind, and it kind of is a spiral.
Well, the other thing, you have to live the example too. Moral people don't hang around with immoral people.
That's correct.
I mean, so you have to be that example. You have to have those values and morality in order to attract people into your lives. One of the things I tell young men, if you want a woman that's going to be the submissive feminine woman, then you have to be able to accept, the values and stuff that brings that to you. If you don't, those women aren't going to come to you.
Right.
That's when we talk about frame. Set your frame around the values and stuff of what you want to attract into your life. You can't say, this is my frame, and I'm going to go out and do all this bad stuff and expect good people to want to be around you.
One thing I would like to add about OnlyFans is the porn industry has always led technology. If you look at it, for instance, the VHS drove out Betamax because there was porn. And there was more internet traffic on porn site. I remember reading a report from Deutsche Bank. The first time ever that the non-porn traffic exceeded the regular porn traffic on the internet was in 2008 or somewhere like this. What? What do people do all day? And so
I think the first email sent was like an ASCII text of a naked chick. Right.
The first social media was on porn. The streaming was on porn. Like every technological innovation has been on porn. Now,
except for Blu-ray.
And not even virtual reality is on porn. But if you think about it, like now there's AI, and a friend of mine. That is
going to be a factor I wanted to talk about later after we see the numbers, because I think that's
all right.
That's going to be a big impact that some might not be prepared for. And we can chat about that, because I think that is going to smack everybody in the face.
Yep.
And they may not know it, but it will.
So
what's really pushing this too, to hit off of what Laurent was saying, what's really pushing this too is that the next phase of this, right, is that we have professional women who used to be lawyers, teachers, like we're talking about today, who revert back to being OnlyFans girls. And they do it publicly. Even female pastors, I know Glenn is not happy about that one, that revert back to doing OnlyFans, and they're trying to spin it as, hey, this empowers me, or hey, I made more money doing this, or hey, I have a family, or hey, I'm doing it with my husband, so it's empowering, or something, whatever like that, right? And I'm not a moralist. I'm not here to I treat others like the way I want to be treated. And if I meet OnlyFans girls all the time as friends, and they open doors for me too. They're just people. But
yes, they are.
At the end of the day, what we're seeing next, and we're seeing this more, women that were lawyers, or sometimes they do it in tandem. They're nurses and they do it. And then you see the news where nurse gets fired or teacher gets fired because she filmed a scene inside of her classroom or inside of her work area, and they get fired. Right.
Oh,
and the thing is, the damage is their reputation.
Don't throw it up yet. We're going to get there. Don't throw it up yet. I want to get through the numbers, and then we'll go, because the trend is expanding beyond OnlyFans. And we'll demonstrate it. Glenn and I have it ready. We're going to talk exactly what Nuke said. We're going to show that trend has gone not only to teachers, which is where we're going with this, but it has now expanded to political figures. And we'll get there, which I think is pretty entertaining. And you're right. These are people. These are human beings with equal human value. I'm sorry, but they are. And it's fulfilling needs for them that we didn't expect. And we get back to Lauren's point, AI is going to just turn it upside down on its head. But I have to acknowledge Rusty Fuel. He's threw us a super chat. Therefore, he's going to get an Odin. Rusty Fuel, $9.99. The problem with OnlyFans Epiphany stage is when they go to church is the change is only on the surface and not real internal change of heart, much like what is going on with what Nuclear had told us. Thank you for the super chat, guys. Please like and subscribe every channel here. We are viewer supported. The super chats and super thanks are extremely appreciated. And if you really want to get more into this content, there's a lot of private content on everybody's membership. I think all of us have memberships at their lowest rate or a tiered rate. Very inexpensive. Please join join our OnlyFans, right, Glenn? Or YouTube. Hell, it might as well be OnlyFans, right?
and to wrap up my point real quick. Oh, did I interrupt somebody?
No,
to wrap up my point real quick, it's now Yeah, the latest stage of this stuff, that like the final is OnlyFans girls that give marriage and dating advice, and that's where we're at right now, right?
Yeah.
So not only are they giving legal advice, not only are they teaching children, not only are they in hospitals taking care of the sick, now they're teaching men and women about love and relationships. And now this is where OnlyFans were like, because pornography always existed, at least in recent memory, but now people that push or in this industry are now starting to be professionals and sort of like all knowing people that are all knowing about certain subjects out of nowhere, but they also do this stuff. So a lot of people are confused. I'm like, how did you go from being an OnlyFans model to sitting on a podcast with everything out to telling me how to chase a girl or how to talk to a woman? Right? That's insane. And that's all I have on that.
You know what? I wouldn't mind doing an episode with you on that, because that is the big up and come now.
Oh, my favorite is still Mia Khalifa giving like marriage advices. Like that chick has been famous for what came into her mouth, not what came out of her mouth.
Let me tell you a story. I had a PE teacher back in middle school named Mr. Troop. Now, Mr. Troop was yoked, right? This dude was like bodybuilder status, right? And Mr. Troop did a photo shoot of for some fitness magazine at the time. This is in the 90s, right? And then the girls in our school found out that Mr. Troop did this photo shoot with him, shirtless. Mr. Troop had to get relieved of his work for posting shorts, him in shorts, shirtless, because it thought that it would entice sexual, promiscuity or whatever, make the girls go wild for him, give him googly eyes. And they were concerned that it would put him in a situation where he may be accused of doing something with women, girls, right? But now we have teachers doing OnlyFans, women teachers, and literally, who are they marketing to? They're marketing, once they put themselves out there, they're marketing to their own students.
Because he was a man.
But now we know why men body build. So.
But that's the craziness of this all, is that there is, we come down to accountability or consequences. And this is really we're talking about the culture war. The real problem with the culture war, and Pastor Joel Webbin said it great in this video that he did called asking, do women sin more, right, than men? He's like, women don't sin more than men. Women just haven't been held accountable for their sin as much as men have. We as society, we have said, oh, it's okay if you get pregnant and you pick the wrong guy to have a kid with. Don't worry, the government will pay for it. We'll take care. We'll cover your consequences. Oh, it's okay that you divorced your husband. Don't worry, we're gonna make him pay for it. Oh, it's okay. Women commit 78% of domestic violence, but it's okay because it's not as physically damaging as when a man does it. So we're gonna write that off too. So societally, we have okayed this bad behavior for women over and over and over again. Oh, it's okay, you're a congresswoman and you're jacking some dude off in the theater. Oh, it's okay that you're a congresswoman and you're having an affair. That's fine. Because back in the day, if a man had an affair, a congressman had an affair with a woman and it got exposed, they would get rid of him because they would feel that he would be able to be blackmailed for this type of thing and give up state secrets or, give up some leverage, right? So
yes, Glenn, we're going to get there. Loose lips sink ships, right?
Well, what I'm getting at is that we have no standard of accountability, and we have been giving away. We're wondering why we are at the state of OnlyFans. There's more OnlyFans than there's teachers, because instead of saying, hey, guess what? This is bad behavior and bad behavior gets punished, we're like rewarding it. So,
we had a term in the submarine force for that. It's called hookups for fuck ups.
Yeah.
I'll have a good one for you. once upon a time, Clinton was nearly impeached for what he did. And then they interviewed Jacques Chirac, the French president. And Jacques Chirac said, having an affair is very French. Being caught is very American.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have OnlyFans on the one hand, and on the other hand, you have Me Too. So the consequences exist for dudes, but they don't exist for women. And this is very important. You can be canceled. Your life can be terminated for no particular reason, without any proof, without any evidence. However, it is condoned for OnlyFans. So we exist in a double standard society.
Well, you certainly have privileges, and I think that privilege goes a long way when you start looking at the numbers here on the OnlyFans. And there is an exchange here, and there's an exchange. What the customer is willing to pay for is what he sees valuable. This is the OnlyFans off of usignhouse.com, and it's going to give us the idea of exactly how many OnlyFans there are, how many creators and revenue. You know what? I have the image instead. This is an easy one. So OnlyFans released its earnings in 2022. They won't tell us the exact number of creators and users, but we can glean it pretty easily. The revenue was up $1 billion, up 17%. And the profit was up $525 million. That's $500 million. Payment to creators just last year was 5.6, up 17%. And I'll tell you this, it's beyond that right now. You can straight line that. That's pretty wild. So they also were up 3.1 million creators, 2022. So just using that number alone and getting into the teacher numbers, that's 2021. Let's get back here. Glenn, we had broken this down, but if I remember correctly, what we end up having here is, help me out here. We had, it's kind of hard to get the exact numbers, but you can get anywhere from 2020 to 2023, 3.4 to 3.8 million full-time and part-time teachers. That includes teachers, age, and support staff. So those are at all levels, primary, secondary, and high school in the United States.
I got the numbers here, Thor, if you want.
74% are women is what I've been able to glean. 2.8 million are women. That's correct, 2.8?
Yeah, 2.85 million women are teachers, whether that's substitute, full-time, all K through 12.
Yeah, and so what a lot of people, to justify the fact that there's more OnlyFans creators than there are teachers, they're going to say, well, it's only part-time. But that number for teachers includes part-time too, so that's really a wash. So part-time, and there's teachers that part-time do OnlyFans. So we'll just stick with the numbers. And if you want to get into, since that total number is 74% woman, you know what's really interesting is if you get to elementary school teachers, it's 97% women at 1.8 million. That's super interesting. And then you can look here at what it was valued at in 2020. Let me get to the graph. So there's the revenue for 2022. You can see it right there. So they've been around since 2018. The revenue was $5.8 million. But look at the jump. So this is when they were all about the sports and all that stuff. First year took off pretty good. Private company, no less, which I like. I think that was smart on their move. And then looky here. I mean, of course, COVID hit, which they were probably able to capitalize on, but just word of mouth, their own advertising, capitalizing on those dating sites and Instagram. Now we're at 2022 at 2.5 billion projected, but we looked at the actual number because this is old. It ended up being more than 5 billion. So they blew that out of the water. And then you can see the profits very huge. I mean, they've grown exponentially. So that's pretty wild when you start looking at those numbers. There's the valuations right there. 18 billion was the latest valuation in the company. $18 billion. That's pretty amazing. So the one thing that I needed to point out is where is the one that's the creator's earnings. The majority of earners for girls, and what a lot of people are talking about,
$185.
yeah, they make like under $200. They don't make nothing really. But then the top 10%, they do, or is it 15%? I can't remember. You have to glean it out of here.
So numbers, I'm good at looking at this.
Here it is. Here it is. Top 1% of the creators earn 33% of all the income. Top 10% is 73%.
Thor, can you go up a little bit? I'm really good at looking at this stuff, so that's my job. So let's go back up a little bit. 87% of the creators are
where?
Of the users are 87% of the users are male. 10% of the users are female.
Yes.
That's when you look at that number, right? They're saying like there's like 100 million subscribers on or accounts. They don't say creators. They say accounts.
That's
on
right.
OnlyFans, right? 87 million are men.
No, 87%.
10 million are women. So let's just say that 10 million are women.
Yep.
Let's just say half, right? 50% of 10 million are creators, right? That's 5 million, right? That is still more more porn stars or OnlyFans than teachers. So what does it say? What are women choosing? To sell their butthole than to teach kids.
That's easier to work that way, you know.
Thought go down a little bit. This is interesting. The median income, the median account makes 180. So median is not the average. Median is if we break down everything in decile.
Right.
This is the fifth decile. So that means that around there are the extremes. So 300 creators, these are probably the top 0.1%. They make over $1 million a year. 16,000. How many accounts would they have altogether? I forgot that number. But 16,000 creators, that's not a lot, 50,000. So that means that for a lot of people, if the median is at 180 per month, that means that very, very, very few. Top 1% earns 33% of the income, which means that basically 99% of the people don't make money. So there's a very strong disincentive to be on OnlyFans, because this is a reputational risk. If you're a regular person, let's say for instance you work in corporate America or corporate whatever, and you get your ass on OnlyFans, chances are that one day you're going to have an unpleasant conversation with HR.
I understand, but I think we're in for a change. Is that it's growing so exponentially that acceptance is going to grow.
Actually, there are now clauses in the employment contracts that you cannot.
Some do,
yeah. This is called. I forgot the name.
I have that, and I've had it for my entire career.
Yeah. I mean, can we just go back to
something like a non-comp agreement?
Can we go back to shaming women again? Like. Like, I'm being dead serious. Back in the day when we used to shame women not to be a hoe, you know, I mean, shit, you even had women shame them not to be hoes, right? You don't want to get with her. She's a floozy. Okay. So let's just can we go back to shaming women back into proper behavior? Because that's really what it is. It's like, oh, I could be an OnlyFans model. I don't care. You're talking about reputation, right? Women don't give a shit about their reputation anymore, because there's no accountability for bad behavior. The culture war is literally, you want to hold us accountable for our behavior, but we don't want to be held accountable for our behavior, but we want you to pay the consequences for our bad behavior. That's the whole culture war. You look at it from every angle. Trans people. Oh, I want to chop off my wiener. You know what? Oh man, you guys need to date me now. Why? You know, or I'm gonna delete myself. Goodbye. Like the whole culture war is literally people wanting to make bad decisions, and having their bad decisions fall on the shoulders of people that are doing good or making good decisions for their life, and then saying, "Hey, we're not equal." Well, you made an equally bad decision.
Yep. So knowing some of these,
I want to. Oh, go ahead, Thor.
So knowing some of these creators, like I do, which I do. And I talked to them before this. A lot of them will guide their fans. They don't make a lot of money here, but they guide their fans to other things to sell, which is in nature, sexual in nature, or engagement in nature on the side. Cash apping is very popular there. So there's ways they use this to try to get access to members too. And if you think about it, I just had up on the screen the top paid subscribers. What I think that OnlyFans is really doing so well is they're playing on the apex fallacy that women really hold on to really tight. And it's demonstrated in any woman that's looking for a man that she wants. She sees that top 10%, therefore all men are like that. Every other one is invisible. That's the apex fallacy. I think because those men are the ones that I want, that's really all that's out there, and I can't see the rest. Even if she doesn't say that, I think OnlyFans is attracting. Did you see the size of the users and the content creators? It's growing exponentially right now. So there is a belief they can make all of this. And then back to the teachers. We did some numbers earlier. I don't want to get too far into it, but we calculated what the average teacher earned. Do you have those numbers handy, Glenn? And if you average what?
Yeah, the average teacher makes anything from 47,000 to 67,000. Said the medium is around 57,000.
And most OnlyFans girls, if you averaged all of those earnings out to the users, that is not even close. Not even close. You know. And so we had at the top calculation 3.8 was 3.8 million teachers in America.
Yeah. So for female teachers, it's 2.8 million.
2.8. And then if we took their whole salaries, it's considerably more than the OnlyFans revenue right now.
Yeah. It's like $16 billion.
Yeah. Versus the
country pays for teacher salaries. So it's like,
but at the same time, with us paying that for the teacher salaries, because like I watched it all happen in Washington, how much of their salary goes to the union and not to them?
Right, and that's the thing.
This isn't raw numbers because out of the raw numbers, if you look at the revenue generated by OnlyFans, same thing. They're going to cut some money out too, right?
Yeah, but what you've got to understand is since COVID's happened, people are willing to make less money and they're looking at ways to make money, but it takes less effort.
It is less effort for sure.
It's laziness, right? It's laziness. I don't want to go out and work and have a real job. No, let me just take my iPhone, snap a couple shots and videos of me poking my butthole and try to sell that. Right? Like it's laziness. It's laziness. And just as like, how porn is sedation for men, right? Going out there and actually meeting somebody, putting in the work to get a girl. OnlyFans is laziness for women because they could collect their unemployment checks, from their old job, and then still claim to be unemployed and make that money off of OnlyFans selling their butthole.
Yeah.
So it's like it's laziness. They don't want to have to go out and work.
And they don't want to submit to a man. We know that, but that connotation is slowly being eroded away because having talked to these OnlyFans girls, and then it's spreading beyond OnlyFans girls. There's this attitude about the sexuality that is brought into the open strongly now, and it's even got to the point where, Glenn, don't you have a video of a teacher or a website of a teacher that fell into that category we were talking about earlier about the employer having a you can't embarrass us type clause and got fired for doing OnlyFans? We also have
her.
Yes. So
Christine McDonald,
her circumstance
fired from her teaching assistant job for making an OnlyFans account.
Right.
There was also another teacher that actually she got house arrest.
Yep.
For doing porn with one of her students.
Now, that's pretty interesting because I think this is starting to become a little bit more popular, even with women that we might say are leaders in our society. Let me go ahead and post this one up too. Do you guys realize this is Marjorie Taylor Greene, a prominent conservative woman? You realize that here she is polyamorous and here's her two lovers. And if you dig into this, it's all fully admitted. And here she is, a woman in a leadership position. This is her personal life. I think we got problems with women in leadership position, guys. I think they make good average leaders at best. But this is, in my opinion, it's because we're no longer on a meritocracy. But this isn't it. It's not only that. We have, who is this? This was the congresswoman for sex scandals and videos. Same
Oh,
thing.
Thor, I got one better for you.
Oh, okay. Let's put it up, and then I'll move to Paul's favorite. Okay.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, put it up.
Girl.
And we need
this woman is running
in between. Yeah.
This woman is running for Congress.
Is it the nurse?
Here we go.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, that's the nurse that's the mother of two that I saw this article on.
Yep.
Single mother of two?
No, she's a nurse. She's married. She makes content with her husband. She's got 2 kids.
Oh, okay.
And mind you, she's a nurse.
Oh, okay. Very familiar
with
those
nurse chicks.
Yeah, she has technical knowledge of the star.
They're dirty birdies. You know what I mean?
Man, I love nurses.
But see,
so do I.
We're going to talk about that. That is a unique profession that's fun to explore, shall we say.
They're very nurturing. And they know what now.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, we got to get let's just call a spade a spade. All right. And just say this. In the last 50 years, we wouldn't have had one Democratic president if we allowed women to vote. All right. We have given away authority as men in society over and over and over again. And then we wonder why we're in the mess that we are today. Okay. The contraception issue, right? That helps women get away from having to be accountable for not picking the right person to sleep with. Right? Okay. So now they don't have to worry about children and getting pregnant or they could just go have an abortion and have an oopsie. All right. So there's that, right? We're letting them get out of that. And then we're letting them, the whole voting thing. Here we go. That was to split the family home vote and to begin with. Right. So it wasn't, it's these certain, policies and procedures that we have had allowed to go into our civil society has played a dramatic role in the situation that we're in today. Is the pendulum ever going to swing back? No. Guys, no. We can't go back to the 1950s society. We're not going to go back there. The thing is, how do you deal with it now? You guys, we have to have a standard.
Yeah, capitalism will fix this. When the demographic crash actually does happen over time, it's not that it'll return us to something. It will actually cause us to use our practicality to get out of this. Now, it's the leadership problem with women being in leadership positions is really we're feeling a lot of the impacts, both economically and, in person. I mean, I'm going to put this next gal up. This is a political gal that is in Paul's state, but I mean, I can remember just a few short years ago when they were bringing DEI training and all this training out, maybe even 10 years ago, they would come in and the gals would teach us, how to deal with women in the office and how to make them feel welcome, because you could be punished or fired or who knows, maybe even go to jail if you made somebody feel unwelcome. And in that training, we had to be very professional. We were told about relationships at work, and then they culminated it with a video that was how we should communicate with women, particularly women in leadership positions. And they showed us this video called The Nail. Has anybody seen The Nail?
Yeah.
Basically, a woman sitting there complaining, and you can only see from her eyes down about all this stuff that's happening, and the guy's not really communicating with her. But the upshot is, you definitely get the sense they're actually in an intimate relationship, like a husband-wife intimate. And yet we're being told this is what we need to do in a corporate environment where we don't have intimate relationships. And then they draw back, and the guy's trying to get her to pull a nail out of her head. And her comment was, it's not about the nail. And he goes, oh, okay, I'm sorry you feel that way. And that was the upshot of our training in corporate America for leadership. And I'm just like, holy crap, what happened to the bottom line of experience? We need to make numbers. We need to be safe. We need to acknowledge people that are exceptional. We need to not run around and tell everybody that they're special when they are fucking not. Let's take a look at a very special person right now, Paul, that you had provided doing normal things in a theater as we used to do 20 years ago. Let's do it.
Western Slope girls.
Let's do it.
Breed,
Here
you know what I mean?
Yeah, here we go. You could tell right now there's some advertising going on here in a beautiful little skirt. And this guy, he's got some nice clothes on. They're in this theater. Her name is Lauren Boebert, like maybe Bob, Neil and Bob there kind of. But anyway.
Boebert, but yeah.
Boebert. Oh, Boebert. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Here we go.
Surprise, TradCons. Like that's one of their like stars.
Ooh. Hey, let me just touch her titties here. And she's
yeah. So that's guys. I mean, that's her husband, right? I mean, it's pretty normal behavior we used to do when we were dating.
Oh no!
Oh, whoa!
Oh, look at this! Oh, she's just gonna
grab that unit right there. Was there a unit grab right there?
Oh, there was. Oh, right there. Look at that.
Maybe some kissing on the neck.
Some heavy petting of the old.
Wait a minute. Whoa! That's her. It looks to me like that's a sexy OF teacher uniform right there. Oh, no. Congresswoman Lauren Boebert. What does this act? Oh, ejected. She was kicked out. Uh-oh. Where's that coming from? Somewhere on this damn page. Sorry, guys.
We on that next level.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. She's on that next level, baby.
There we go. So we just took it out of there. But essentially, it says she was married 20 years, and last May, she left her husband. Well, who's that guy in there?
Not her husband.
Conservative Republican. Oh, I'm sorry. She's a conservative gynopublican. And the guy sitting next to her, oh, no, he's a liberal femocrat.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that
they say opposites attract, right?
I guess they do. And Paul, please fill us in about the bar and all of that stuff. So this kind of, I mean, there's some OnlyFans sort of things going on here and fantasies. And I mean, just by her dress, and there's more and more to this, not directly tied to OnlyFans, but I wanted to demonstrate the behavior has spread far beyond OnlyFans.
Yeah. I mean, she got her start before she got into Congress. She got her start because her and her husband had a restaurant in Rifle called Shooter's Grill. Shooter's Grill is actually a pretty good place. All the waitresses open carry there. And she was basically the face of the company. She was on social media dressing sexy, walking around open carrying, and that was her gimmick. And then they started doing some pushes for new gun control in the state here. And so she started lobbying basically as a way to promote her restaurant, Shooters. And she sort of rose to fame by doing that sort of thing and decided she was going to run for Congress. And she unseated Scott Tipton as our congresswoman here. And that's how it started. And then because of her politicking, though, it actually cost her husband their business, because the people that owned the building where Shooters was, they didn't like her politics. So they didn't let them renew their lease. And her husband basically lost everything because of her wanting to be in the limelight and be famous and stuff like that. It's really kind of a sad story.
So wait a minute. Yeah. He lost everything because of her, and she still cheated on him.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's pretty safe to say, because they haven't been split too long, and she's already like a lot of guys are surprised by this. A lot of guys are very surprised by this, but women, when they're done with a relationship, they're usually mentally checked out up to 2 years before they actually pull the trigger.
That is true.
And they start lining up their beta orbiters and getting their next guy in line.
Monkey wrenching.
Yeah, before they drop that brick in their guy's lap. So it's almost there's no way you could argue that she wasn't probably already cheating with this guy.
Yeah.
It's
really interesting because there's a lot of lessons to be learned, Paul. Red pill lessons to be learned here, because female nature is female nature. And you just alluded to some very important hardcore facts about it. And while we get castigated all the time, not all women are like that. But we say this, not all women are like that until they are. And then they are. And that's just how it is, for sure. And
I like the way what Ryan says about that. He's like, you treat all guns like they're loaded.
Yes.
Right? Whether they are or not. So you guys treat all women like they can do this until they prove that they can't, or that they won't.
Or that they won't for now.
Yeah.
For now, right?
Until they do.
Yeah. Until they do. Yeah,
and it's kind of like that with her. It's kind of like that maxim that I think it's Rolo was talking about. Like once you lose your job as a guy, the clock starts ticking to either get another job or get something better.
I think that was a Chris Rockism.
Yep. Same if you get.
Was it Chris Rock?
There's nature.
Just what Rolo talked about it.
Yeah.
Monkey branching 101.
And you know what? That makes you know what that leads into my hypothesis I'm working on, which is the body count that really matters in the long-term relationship is how many male orbiters she currently has and how many men friends she's friend zoned. Just saying. It's a working hypothesis, might be wrong. Just working on it.
Yeah. A shoulder to cry on becomes a dick to ride on pretty quick.
And pretty instantaneously.
Yeah.
And then
I think
when you ask him, it's like, I don't know. He was hot. I was drunk. It just happened.
Oh, it just happened. One thing led to another. I don't know how it happened. Yeah.
Well, how did this happen? I don't understand. It just happened. It's okay. I'm making a lot of fun here. I love women to death. And
I got a jet.
Love that too. Glenn.
Bye, loser.
You wanna do some announcements or anything like that?
Yeah, real quick here. I'm gonna be going right back to the studio right now. We are sprucing up Red One Studios, just so you guys know.
Yeah.
So keep an eye on it. Follow the Instagram page we have created for Red One Studios. You're gonna start seeing a lot of content up there from like Rolo, myself, Miguel, Charlie from Cultivate Crypto and Dollar Cost Crypto, as well as Davrick from Black Ice Logic. So make sure you start following that. You guys do me a favor. I'm like 40 subscribers away from hitting 3,000. Like,
oh shit, that's good.
I'm trying to get to my goal 3,000. So if you guys haven't followed me yet, please give me a like, give me a follow. I really appreciate and support all that. Moral of the story: don't trust women. No, I'm kidding.
But seriously though,
don't trust women.
AI will replace OnlyFans, right?
AI will replace OnlyFans. If you want to, if guys really want to deal with this bullshit and or put a stop to it, stop supporting it, stop promoting it. I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
Good man.
All right, I'm out.
Thanks, Glenn. Talk to you later, brother.
Peace.
Guys, we got about 15 minutes. We got to wrap up. So he brought up the AI thing. I think AI is going to achieve enough intelligence that girlfriend experience. And, like when I started out, where some of the highest paid ones are getting monthlies just to communicate with a guy like a girlfriend would. And that changes things. Didn't they make a movie just a few short years ago about that? Not so much with the pictures, but the AI was talking to a guy. Wasn't it called She or something like that?
The name was Her with Joaquin Phoenix.
Yes.
And the girlfriend experience was out of this world, because if we look at, for instance, at chats, like you can actually program the girlfriend of your dreams. She can answer the way you want it to do. And now, as far as pictures are concerned, my neighbor who programs, my ex-neighbor who's now back in San Diego, he programmed on blockchain and so on and so forth. He's got into like Mid-Journey and all this AI kind of stuff.
Interesting.
And he sends me like pictures. Hey, these are my dream Japanese girls. Like, dude, they got silos, those ones.
Yeah, but they're getting way good.
They got nuclear silos with things like that. Like, so they're like special engineering. And if you think like all the guys in the basement beating their meat like it owes them money, they're gonna get into Mid-Journey. Mid-Journey and ChatGPT and release some OnlyFans content at $180. They're gonna start printing money, those guys.
I think so too. Actually, I think that's where it's going, because economically, some of these girls charge a lot for that service, and then then it just reverts to AI. Then the only option that the sweetheart ladies have to compete with is the actual physical experience. And that's where I'll see, my prediction is they'll see a big push for legalization of prostitution in many states at that point.
Yeah, but they're also trying to put a lot of red tape around pornography in some states. I mean, it's not going to work, but like I think some of the Midwestern states, a lot of them have a lot of pushback against major porn websites and all that stuff. So there's a little fighting going on to like push it back and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I don't know what the future is going to bring. I don't really think about. I think kind of like day to day. And for what I'm seeing from women, like normal women, the women that we date, us guys in our 30s, date 20s, And up, I think they still hide it. They're not gonna mention it on a first date unless obviously there's girls that do it. Also, a lot of women aren't making a lot of money, like we mentioned. They're not men think when they hear OnlyFans, they think of this lavish lifestyle, and that's part of the marketing, right? The marketing is that if you do this, you'll have extra income, you'll be emancipated from your boyfriend or your husband taking care of you, and on top of that, it'll make you feel empowered, right? And the thing is too, it's what it goes through a woman's mind, right? When she has let's say she has 20, 30, 100 subscribers, and those subscribers are probably not cool, handsome, attractive guys. They're probably weirdos. They're probably lonely men. They're probably married guys. They're probably Christian pastors, whatever you have it in there. What is going through her mind when she is on the way to like Hobby Lobby or a costume shop because a holiday is coming up and she's going to do a holiday shoot? And this is a personal story, not personal story, but this is what I talked about with the lady who does this stuff. And she's doing all the shopping. She's dressing up. She's taking all the pictures, right? And she's showing a guy this, and the guy's like, that's kind of weird. Like, I mean, I'll have sex with you, but like, that's really weird, And it is weird because a lot of guys see this stuff and they're like, wow, the girl that's dressed like a rabbit for Easter, wow, it's hot. But when you actually are dating a girl that does this stuff, I don't care how, like, you may be a desperate guy or something, but a normal dude, right? A normal dude will look at this and be like,
yeah,
I mean, it's on the internet. Like, can't you just do it for me? Or can you just do lingerie? Like, Victoria's Secret's enough. Like, and it's going to escalate. So it's moving in that direction, Thor, but it's going to be very slow and painful. Like, women are trying their best to integrate this into society, the lawyers, the doctors, and nurses. But ultimately, the men are the ones that have the keys to the relationship.
They do.
And it's just it's hard because I saw it myself. Even for a casual relationship, I saw it, and I'm just like, don't show me that. I don't. If other men are seeing you like that, I don't like. Show me pictures that are for me. And that's what I'm saying. Like, don't lose hope. Like, this is gonna the end of the world is coming in the next 2 years. Like, it's gonna be a very slow process. That's what I got on that.
Yeah. I want to hear from Viking Dad, man. What's your whole take on this situation? Because I do see that it's spreading, but I think AI is going to be a major impactor to drive the price of Boone down. I actually think that it will at some point because it's just how new technology is unpredictable, but it does change the market in ways that we can't predict. But my sense is, my belief is that it will drive the price of Boone down. It's already been de-escalated in a lot of ways, Of course, there's wholeflation, but that's a different topic.
I don't know a whole lot about AI. I know that it's on its way, and it's going to steal a lot of money from people because you're going to have a lot of dudes in their basement with an AI chick making like $5,000 a month. And then all the other guys that he's friends with are paying him money thinking it's this girl from Japan. But I'll tell you one thing about the whole OnlyFans and the good church girl that I'm going to argue against just from what I've seen. The girls that have these OnlyFans, I'm not talking about the 1% or the 2% or the 10% or the 20%. I'm talking about the regular girls that decided it was a good idea to put their butthole on OnlyFans, and they don't know how to market, and they're really bad at it. And those girls a lot of times are in long-term relationships and or they're married, and they're doing these OnlyFans, and they're not sleeping with anybody. Even their husband's barely getting anything out of this. They're getting free attention, and they're getting their free dopamine off of this attention, and it's like having an emotional relationship without having to actually sleep with a person to get the emotion back. What I've seen is they don't actually sleep around that much. The ones that do are the church girls, the ones that don't have OnlyFans, because they sell purity. All girls want to kind of somewhat sell purity. That's why that even if they have OnlyFans, as long as the other girls don't know about it, nobody cares. But if the other girls know about it and they start talking about it the next time they're at the salon getting their hair done, and they start spreading around that Tiffany has OnlyFans now, and everybody never liked Tiffany because they always thought she was a hoe, then that kind of hurts her credibility.
That bitch Tiffany. Yeah.
Yep, it's always Tiffany. But that girl that invites you over to her house to hang out,
Tiffany.
the nice church girl that invites you over to her house, and you have to sit through the last 15 minutes of the church service before you go take your pants off together. She's the one that's getting all the guys' attention. She doesn't have the OnlyFans. Nobody knows she's doing it, but she can name 4 exes at the gym as they're
plausible
coming in.
deniability. The church is wonderful for that.
And we look over that a lot of times because, we have the hoes that have the epiphany stage that find Jesus, and we get all mad about it. They believe it. They bought it themselves so they could sell it. They think it's true. That's why you marry a porn star that bangs like a prude. It's the church girls that was there since they were teenagers. They're the ones that's out there getting all the dudes. Just saying.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So what you're saying, Viking Dad, is I should go to church tomorrow, even though I'm not a churchgoer.
Yeah, and then you get some freaky Christian girl.
Yep.
My favorite was always the preacher's daughter for some reason, but
those are the worst.
I am a savage.
Preacher's kids, worst.
I'm a savage,
They
thanks,
make
man.
it a personal point.
That. Let's we're just about out of time. Let's do a quick wrap up. I do want to acknowledge everybody in the chat: Nick, Star, Theodore, Tazette, Sub-Zero, all our good ones in there. Rusty Rivers, Mike, Cayman Trades, Apex. There are so many good guys in there. Please just give us a like and a subscribe to every channel here. Realize that RP Thor is a channel as well. So is a Come On Man podcast. The current reigning Manosphere champion, Paul Bauer. That's awesome. Nuclear Caudillo, Viking Dad. Laurent from Tokyo doesn't have a YouTube yet, but someday we're hoping. It's got to be like 3:30 in the morning over there right now. Or maybe it's got to be 9 a.m., something like that.
It's 4:30 in the morning.
There you go. Oh, man. Yeah, supernatural fart spreader. We like having you here spreading those supernatural farts. Share the video, and thank you for your comments and super chats, people. It's wonderful. Join our YouTubes, Wraith the Deantor. He's got his own YouTube channel, expanding on the way. AJM, all you guys go and join his channel. He's doing the Viking detailing. It's really good. He did a really good review of my book, A Dominant Masculine Presence, which really delves into a lot of issues that men are facing right now with masculinity. Put a lot of effort into that, guys. And I do talk about female leadership in that book and why you don't want to necessarily use that model, but it's being broadcast to men that's the premier model of leadership. Do not go there. It's a very simple model, but there's better models for you to access in your life to actually lead your own life and do it in an unemotional way that will benefit you for years to come. So I appreciate that review, AGM. That was really fun doing that, or having you do that of my book.
You're welcome. I enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed reading it.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. And I did all the audiobook reading as well. And Danny Arnold, you're going to get a double horn today. Thank you, sir. Danny's been one of our solid Yalms Vikings from the beginning. Fine episode, damn fine indeed. Here's a little something for Creed Jar. Danny, you're such a great supporter. I'd love to get you on camera, anytime. You're always welcome. All these men, we have a good time chopping these topics up. We're going to go round table here real quick, but thank you for supporting the channel. And Star, shout out to you. You're one of our members. Appreciate your support. And I know you were having some moving issues. I hope those are all solved and that things are looking really up for you guys. This is definitely viewer supported, and we appreciate you having fun with the topic today more than anything else. I don't really have any judgments to make on the OnlyFans. I actually appreciate the business strategy that goes behind it. I know enough of the OnlyFans girls that I can't say that I wouldn't want to do it in their shoes too. It looks like it's a really lucrative potential. Although what would hold me back would be it's seasonal and it affects my future ability to live a fulfilled life if I had the morals that I have now. So, I'd have to be cautious on that. Let's go round table and do our finishing statements. How about that, guys? Let's start with AGM and go around the horn.
All right. Got my YouTube channel's description down below, and my Instagram. I got a couple of videos coming up in the works for my standalones, especially for this topic that we did today. Episode 4 for the detail I did is perfect. It's about ranting about the apps with the OnlyFans and Snapchat. It was a little messed up when I did that one, but I thought it was a little fun. Also have plans on working with Thor on doing a demonstration on the monthly Dragonships. I got some ideas working on that.
The Dragons membership, yeah, that'll be really cool. And I should mention that real quick, AJ. You're actually an affiliate, I believe. Do you have your affiliate?
I don't have the link on me right now because I'm on my phone. If I was on my computer, I'd be able to do it.
But that is the membership, much like the beer club. We go into a lot of depth and video seminars. Like you're going to be putting a seminar together on detailing. So there's a lot of learning to be had on the Dragons membership. I'll take us out with a link to at least to get to where you can read about the Dragons membership and become a Drakkar. A little different than the YouTube channel. It's more like Paul's Beer Club, which I got to join that too. I need to get over there. But yeah, go ahead.
And I'd like to sometime in the near future get with Nuke, Paul, and Glenn and do like a blue pill versus red pill in the military live stream.
Oh yeah.
And that's all I got.
Yeah, let me know. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Wraith, what are you up to, brother?
Not really a lot. Just doing a little coaching and just enjoying life these days. Find me Wraith_Detour, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram, and Yahoo email. So if you want to talk to me or get in touch with me, you can get in touch with me in those places. As far as the OnlyFans thing, I'm like you. I don't really care what they do. It's their decisions. Doesn't have an impact on society. I think everything that every group does has an impact on society in some way or another. But what I teach men and what I teach young men is, you're responsible for yourself. You're responsible for your behavior. And if you want good people around you, you have to be a good person. And you have to be able to hold frame and understand that your frame is your values. And if you can't support your values, you'll never be able to hold frame. Beyond that, that's it.
Thank you, Wraith. Laurel from Tokyo, you got any final words and thoughts on the topics today?
Maybe some girls will be lawyers and OnlyFans, but at the same time, there are often like clauses like moral turpitude. So moral turpitude for lawyers is basically an immoral behavior, and you might see lawyers that are they do OnlyFans, but I don't think that there will be many partners. So I don't think it's good for your career progression altogether. That's on the one thing. Personally, I don't know OnlyFans. I'm not interested in this, so whatever. There's the equivalent in Japan though, and again, I think that I'm not interested in paying stuff. With that said, on another topic about what I'm up to, my publisher reached out to me and he wants a second edition of my book. So I'm working on the code now to write a second edition of the book that I wrote. Algorithmic short selling with Python. There'll be plenty of new code, plenty of new stuff. That's one thing. And more importantly, not more importantly, but as importantly, with Ryan Fowler. So Paul, you know Ryan?
Yes.
And we're launching a school community. So everybody welcome. They'll be part of his course on the school for free. There'll be teaching and trainings and so on and so forth. So guys, you're more than welcome to join. We've been working on it and we've launching it probably. It's already up and running. It's called Mind Chrysalis. Chrysalis as in a butterfly. Mind Chrysalis in one word. And there'll be plenty of content. So
and that's available where?
on school. So I'll post a link in the comments of that video so that people can refer to it.
If you want to put it in the private chat, I could put it in all the chats.
All right, let me do that right now, sir.
Yeah, Ryan told me about school. It's kind of like a social media for people that want to learn stuff.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
So school community, Mind Chrysalis. Here we go. All right. This is technology, you know.
Yeah, if you put it in the private chat, I'll transfer it into all the channels.
All right, here we go. School Mind Chrysalis. And if you do that, that should work. Here we go.
Okay.
So, and Ryan Fowler works with Toxic Shame. Toxic Shame works with everything. So it's about like weight loss, body image, inner game, money, sex, relationship, you name it, we have it. So, and we really want to change the world. So we have great ambitions with this. And we really want to help people, not only men in the manosphere, but everybody from all walks of life. So
that's really cool.
Yeah, really. So we really, and there'll be tons of free content. Please, and this is where we'll be hanging out. So please come. Everybody's welcome. It's free.
Thank you, Laurent. We appreciate that, and we always like free stuff. Oh, Viking Dad, your final thoughts on today's topic and all the other BS that we get to do here and really enjoy on the Dragonship. Thanks for coming, by the way. Oh, he looks frozen.
Oh, my sound was turned off.
Oh, do you any final thoughts on your side, Viking Dad?
I think that we kind of talked about it all.
Okay.
As far as the OnlyFans things goes, I don't think it's ever going to end as long as you've got $1 billion industry. Like we could try to shun them, we could try to shame them, but they're going to sit there like Adam 22 and his wife has the porn that they do and everything. He's got whole teams of guys in that room, all getting a cut, all getting a paycheck. There's girls walking around in bikinis and stuff all day, and they're like, that's a whole nother world. And when you sit there and go, you should really be more modest. There's like 15 guys behind her with equipment laughing, counting their checks and stuff. They don't care. It's just going to come down to knowing women's mindset and knowing knowing how women operate and being able to kind of navigate through that, almost like what we try to teach guys. Because if you're around women and you have women around you and you kind of interact with them, you can deal with all this stuff going on and it doesn't really affect you. Like these girls having OnlyFans don't affect me at all. Like it doesn't affect anything going on in my life because that's just something going on. There's still women here, there, everywhere that you can talk to and interact to.
Right.
It's fine. I think that these guys see it online and they think that that's the common woman now.
That's the apex value we see I talked about earlier, right?
They could be. Every woman can be that woman, but is that woman you're talking to that woman right now? It's all about how you judge with your own frame, how you push with your own frame.
Right.
So
very good. Appreciate that, Viking Dad. Maybe the new pickup line is let's shoot content. Nuke, what's up? Maybe that's how you're doing it. I don't know. Got any final thoughts, brother?
Going off same thing as Viking Dad. There's yes girls and no girls. Same thing with friendships. There's good friends and not friends at all, right? And there's good family members and family members that are not good at all, right? Learn to start really focusing on the people in your life. When a girl gets on a podcast and starts acting out of pocket, or that's not your problem, right? You have enough stuff to worry about in your own life. Worrying about the downfall of society as a young guy at any age, any man at any age, it's just not, you do the best that you can with the morals that you have. You stand by what you say, stand by your word, and you just move on with your life, right? Because you put yourself in these young women's, if you understand women or their behavior and their nature, it makes a lot of sense why this is happening. It makes so much sense, right?
Oh, yeah.
And only the guys that have idealized women to the point where they think that if a woman is sexual, she's bad, and that sex is only for procreation and for family, blah blah. Those kind of men suffer the most because they just don't understand women and how you get here, right? So get your experience with women, learn about intersexual dynamics, and you're gonna realize like you're gonna end up one day maybe sleeping with one of these girls, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully not marry, definitely not marry, but you might sleep with one of these girls, and you're gonna look at it and you're like, man, this is so weird. This is so corny, because that's what happened to me. I met a girl and I saw what goes behind this, and I'm like,
so you were shooting content?
Oh no, she was just showing me.
Okay.
She was just showing me like she was just showing me stuff like, yeah, this is what I dressed as for Easter for my followers, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't.
They think it's
show me like a picture.
They think it's attractive.
Yeah. I'm like, hey, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. Don't show me your like latest trip, or show me.
I've seen some think it's a flex. Yeah, act like it's a flex, right?
Yeah, and that's a lot of guys. They create the OnlyFans girl as their enemy, as like the enemy of society, public enemy number one, and they're the ones pushing this. I'm like, listen, one day you're going to meet, or you're going to sleep with, or you're going to interact with one of these girls, and you're going to look at her and be like, wait, this little 5'1" girl I'm blaming for my life sucking or my inability to get women, that doesn't make sense. And then you'll be able to move on from that. So
yeah, they have the human value. They are women. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and you're gonna look at them and gonna be like, yeah, and they're just people, and they're just maybe they had a bad upbringing, maybe they never had, instead of their boyfriend saying, hey, you're not doing content, and the boyfriend maybe instead of that asking them to marry them and move on with their lives, maybe the boyfriend's like, whatever, do whatever makes you happy, baby, and then she ended up OnlyFans single mom maybe, and that's it is what it is. It's not your problem. Focus on you. If you happen to meet one of these women, have fun, enjoy yourself, but don't step up, obviously. And yeah, that's focus on you.
Thanks,
you are your own point of origin. Yeah.
Are you doing post zero tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm doing post zero tomorrow, guys. 10 a.m. Central with the boys. We're gonna be talking about the rage phase. Why guys stay in the rage phase forever and never move on. So tune into that, and you guys.
That's gonna be good.
Yeah,
good basics. We're gonna get back to basics next week. Sounds great. Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it, Paul.
Yeah.
Back from his adventure. One of our Vikings out there on patrol in Great Britain, looking for some areas for us to plunder and conquer as we bring our dragon ship. Let us know what's going on, champion.
Yeah. So with this stuff, don't spend $1,000 a month on a virtual girlfriend. Go and spend maybe $20, maybe $40 on drinks. Play a little distraction pool with a chick. Invite her back to your place for a little Jenga and a little, you know what I mean? Dude, what are you even doing with your life? Touch a real set of tits, okay? You fuck a real girl, all right? That's all I got. That's actionable information. Tune in on Monday. Ryan Fowler is my guest on Monday. Laurent introduced us, and Ryan finally was able to make that happen. So we talk about like the 5 traumas that people deal with that hold them back in life. And Ryan, if you guys don't know who he is, his channel is Inner Masculine, and he's a hypnotist and a mindset coach, and he helps guys get past these things that hold them back in life. And he said he can usually do it in one session too. So
he's a good friend of mine. Dang, I'm glad you guys connected. I thought you already were. No, it's fantastic, man.
Yeah, he was busy with MLD stuff, so he finally wrapped up with that and was able to make this happen.
I did a session with him back last May, and that led me up to a 22.5% pay increase, changing from one company to another.
Yep. He's a good man. All right, guys, I'm going to close it out. I'm going to give you guys a gift out there in the chat right now. Free audio chapter of my book with a video, and it's chapter 4. The 7 skills of a dominant masculine presence. And since you've just spent the last 2 hours on the dragon ship, you, sir and ladies, acquired a dominant masculine presence while you were here. So that's fantastic. Get out there and take a look at all that stuff. And don't forget the Dragons membership. You know who I am, RP Thor, and this is the dragon ship. So I'm going to take you out today. Appreciate it. Skull.
If you haven't already,
Join Thor's The Dragon's Membership. It's a men's monthly interactive meeting in cyberspace. This is a masculine place for men that is censorship free to help you increase your performance, converse as well as leverage ideas, and get coaching consultations on how to handle life's issues in a modern world. This is a unique place. This is a discreet place, and it's a place for men. So what are you waiting for? Join the Dragon's Membership today.
Masculinity is in crisis. What are we to do? We need to acquire a dominant masculine presence. Now available on Amazon. Masculinity is in crisis. Men's masculine behaviors and traits have been suppressed by popular culture. Why has it become so popular to shame, guilt, insult, masculinity, and masculine behaviors? After 50 to 70 years of this has resulted in a very large subset of men who have become weak, useless, and crisis. Pathetic state for boys and men that leads to depression and violent despair. A dominant masculine presence addresses this very dilemma for the individual man, and it firmly establishes why this is what is desperately needed by the individual man today. In this book, clearly defined masculine traits and behaviors and the emotional durability provided by traditional masculinity are presented as a guide to what every man should embed into his identity. Putting these principles and behaviors into practice will motivate and direct your path step to step to create for yourself an authentic, dominant masculine